Hennythemoor over here at HTM Sports. How is everybody doing this fine evening, afternoon, wherever you is in the world? So as y'all can hear, man, I'm trying to step my game up a little bit. I got the little elevator music playing in the background for y'all. I finally figured out how to add background music into the stream. So, we're just trying something a little different today. I'm turn it down just a little bit just in case. But yeah, man. So how's everybody doing? So there's early reports that the Dallas Cowboys are trying to retain Tyron Smith. They're looking to rework his contract and bring him back. And, we're just going to discuss that. Do I agree with it? Is that the right move to do? My initial thoughts on the matter. I'm going to show y'all the actual report and where it came from. And, we're just going to jump right into it, man. But before I get too far ahead of myself, man, everybody on the way in, please go ahead, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button, share the content. We are trying to grow the channel to get monetized. We are at 537 subscribers right now, and we're gonna need 1,000 to get there. Once we get monetized, we'll be able to invest more into the platform so we can continue to grow, continue to bring you better quality content. As you can see right now, right, y'all were able to help me get this microphone. Right, I was able to get the better version of the program so I can play background music. So like all these small changes, y'all are the ones to thank for that. So there is no me without y'all. So if you want better content, keep donating, keep sharing. Right, I appreciate all the support and love. And for those who want to continue to donate, I am adding the Cash App into the chat box. So let me know, y'all, what do y'all think about the little background music? My little elevator music, as I call it. But yeah, so let me see if I can bring up the actual report, right? Because it's not set in stone just yet, but it is what the Dallas Cowboys are currently working on. So right here, right, Jeremy Fowler reporting on Twitter. For y'all who do not know who this is, Jeremy Fowler is a gentleman that actually works for ESPN, right? And it states, the Cowboys are working on a resolution to bring 8-time Pro Bowler Tyron Smith back for a 13th season, which could include a reworked contract per sources. Smith is due $13.6 million in the final year of his deal. So that is the report. That is what I'm coming on here to speak on. Right? So, hey, what's up with you, Big Bud Cowboy? How are you doing, man? You ain't really missed anything, right? It just, the writing is on the wall for one of the things we were inquiring about, right? So Tyron Smith, looks like the Dallas Cowboys are trying to work out a resolution to retain him and bring him back at a lower cap hit, right? Judging by the initial report, right? And Tyron Smith was one of the players that was slated to be a cap casualty, right? He was one of the players that the Dallas Cowboys could have cut and saved quite a bit of money. If Tyron Smith was cut, the Dallas Cowboys could have saved a little bit over $10 million. So, that is apparently not the route they're going to take. They want to retain Tyron Smith's services, and it looks like they're going to try to work out a way to bring him back for under that cap hit. How much they eventually save overall, that's going to be, only known once the contract is done, once the restructure is done. But I understand. And listen, I was one of the guys that was trying to push Tyron Smith out. I was one of the guys that said we need to move on for Tyron Smith because of his inability to be there and be healthy for the team. That's what I see, right? But, I do understand why the Dallas Cowboys, right? I do understand why the Dallas Cowboys are going this route. When you actually look at the left tackle position, there are still questions about Tyler Smith, even though he played admirably this season, right? Even though he played admirably, there are still questions going forward around Tyler Smith about whether or not he can be, a top level starting left tackle in the NFL, for long term, right? So like he played better than we expected him to, but there's still questions about how he will play there permanently. And when you look at it like this, hey, what's up with you, Deshaun Taylor? I see you, brother. Thank you for tapping in with me, my guy. And when you look at it like this, man, like Tyron Smith, I know he's never healthy, right? That's why I wanted to get rid of him. He's never healthy. Matter of fact, he's only played 17 games in the last 3 years, right? But when you really look at our other options are either Tyler Smith, right, to stay there at that position, take the bumps and bruises of growing, hope that he continues to mature, right? Or we would go out and try and find another left tackle, which is hard to do. Like, that's why left tackles make such good money, right? Like, a left tackle is a superstar position. Like, you get paid real good money if you're a real good left tackle. And teams, when they have real good left tackles, they do not let them go. So, even the prospect of trying to just replace Tyron Smith is a daunting one, even with the fact that he hasn't played a lot of games, right? So I get it. So, I also used I had used the damn comparison. I had compared Tyron Smith to an absent daddy. Smith is the kind of pops that only comes around on birthdays and Christmas. But when he pop in, he bringing the PlayStation 5. He got the new Jordans. He might, you old enough, he might even have your first car for you, right? So that's the analogy I use with Tyron Smith. Like, he ain't always there, but when he's there, he keep coming in clutch. So my only thing from Tyron Smith, man, I just need a little bit more from you, right? So yeah, let's say they rework the deal, they save some money. It's a $13 million cap hit this year. If the money ain't touched, let's say the Dallas Cowboys can rework that deal and they can save about $6 or $7 million. Tyron Smith, I don't even expect Tyron Smith to play the full season, right? He hasn't played a full season, and I don't know how long. So I don't even expect for Tyron Smith to play a full season at this point. But if he can at least give me 10 to 11 games of being Tyron Smith in the regular season, and he's available for the playoffs, I can rock with that. Like, I just need the Dallas Cowboys to understand that as well, right? Like, Tyron Smith has not played a full season in over 6 years. Tyron Smith has only played 17 games in the last 3 years. So if you are going to do this with Tyron Smith, you need to have a hellified swing tackle, or you need to have a hellified option to back up Tyler Smith at left guard, right? Because if Tyron Smith goes down, odds are you're going to have to kick Tyler Smith back to the left tackle position, and we need to upgrade over Connor McGovern at the left guard spot if that were to happen. So you just need to have a viable option on the roster if you're going to keep Tyron Smith out there. You cannot trust Tyron Smith to play a prolonged amount of time. What's up with you, Tyrone Church? I see you. Double R, what's up with you, man? I see you. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. So yeah, man, you can't expect the boy to play for a prolonged amount of time. He ain't done it in I don't know how long. So if you're game planning for him to miss multiple games, as you should, you need to have a viable option there. Whether it be a true swing tackle that can play left tackle, or if you're going to kick Tyler Smith back out to the left tackle spot if Tyron gets hurt, right? Then have a guard that can come in that's better than than McGovern, right? Those are the options. Another detail we're not actually looking at though, because I'm thinking about it from the thought process that Tyron Smith is still going to be the starting left tackle. If they're having him restructure his contract, right, because he's going to be playing in the same capacity as Jason Peters was last year, right? Jason Peters was really a swing tackle for us. He played this side, he played that side. He came in, filled in when we needed him at. If that is going to be the plan for Tyron Smith, then I understand that better, right? You want to keep him for the depth, but you still want Tyler Smith to start. I understand that as well. But like I do now that I sit back and think about it, I do like keeping Tyron Smith on the team. Like I said, I was against it initially, but the more I talk about it, the more I think about the possible scenarios of which way this could go. It makes sense for the Dallas Cowboys to want to keep him, because you either think he's good enough to start at left tackle for you, right? And that would be a very dominant line, having Tyron Smith out there, having Tyler Smith out there, Biadasz out there in the middle, Zach Martin is still Zach Martin, and they fully expect Terrence Steele to be fully healthy to start the season. So those five guys on the offensive line would be, a very formidable group, right? Especially in the run game, because they can move people, right? So they're thinking about it like that. Cool, just have a backup plan, because Tyron Smith is probably not going to play 17 games, right? Like, you have better luck playing the lottery than expecting Tyron Smith to play 17 games. So let's be honest with ourselves. Or, like I said, if they want to treat Tyron Smith like a swing tackle, if he's just a guy that's going to be out there to fill in here and there, right? Maybe come out on a jumbo set or something, that's fine too. But you need the depth. You really don't have that much pristine depth at any spot really on the offensive line. That's why Josh Ball was out there looking horrible at different points during the season, because you don't really have any depth on the offensive line. He said, I want to see you guys at the draft. I live in Kansas. Hey, man, we're working on it, brother. We're working on it. I'm doing everything humanly possible to get out there to the draft. To get out there to the draft. Hey, Matt Baden, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you. Also, anybody that is trying to support, the Cash App is at the top. If you were trying to send Hennythemoor over here at HTM Sports to the draft, if you're trying to send me to the draft, hit the Cash App. Now, we're raising money to go to the draft, both me, Landlord, and West Coast Cowboy. So if you want to support, the Cash App is at the top. Also, he said Jones used their EBT card when it comes to the Cowboys, will fill up the yacht for this weekend. You know how they rocking. And that's true. They have money for what they have money for. But, I'm not mad about the Tyron Smith, possibly staying the Dallas Cowboy. In the grand scheme of things, it makes sense. You need the depth at the offensive line. You do. He's past the point where you can rely on him to play a full 17 game season, but he's not past the point where you can just lay him out the pasture, right? With the depth on your team right now, like, your team is better with Tyron Smith on it. He may only be healthy for 10 games or 11 games, maybe only 9 or 8, but in those games, he will be a bad boy. So how are y'all paying so much for 2 running backs? Jeez. Yeah, I know, brother. I know, because I did not want us to actually put the franchise tag on Tony Pollard. If you really want Tony Pollard that badly, there is really nothing preventing you from signing him to a long-term deal. It would have been a much smaller cap hit, right? Because even if he got $10 million annually, right? Like, the way it works is just like financing a car. You could have signed the deal, you could have gave him a portion of it up front, and then you would have had, less money to finance over the next, however many years of the contract. So if it was a long-term deal for 3 years, $30 million, that's the same what he got, $10 million annually. If you gave him $10 million up front as a signing bonus, which does not go against the cap, you will only be responsible for $20 million over the course of 3 years. And that's roughly about $6.6 million, left a year over the lifetime of that contract. So in a situation like that, it would have been much easier to relegate the cap hit on that. So I didn't agree with them giving Tony Pollard the franchise tag. If you really wanted Tony the way you say you wanted Tony, you could have signed him, right? The man got a broke leg. Tony Pollard has a broken leg. and he is a running back, that's trying to get a contract in the year where the league is trying to devalue the running back position. Like the league leading rusher, right? Josh Jacobs was put on a franchise tag. So like, how much money, on the open market would Tony Pollard get injured when nobody's trying to pay running backs right now? Hey, y'all let me know, man. What y'all think about my elevator music, man? Y'all ain't never said nothing. Man. What y'all think about the elevator music I got playing in the background? Talk to me. I'm trying to see something. Let's see. He said he lives in Kansas. Okay, that's what's up, man. Yeah, we sure gonna try to get out there, man. We sure gonna try to get out there. But yeah, so that's my thought process on Tyron Smith. Like, you really don't have too many options when it comes to the tackle position. Another person that we're talking about, right? I guess we're trying to get it done with Dak Prescott, right? They interviewed him. They asked him, about the possibility of a contract extension. And of course, he gave the relative company, spiel on it. He came out there and just said he was excited to get it done. He said he hopes it's just like Steven said. He hopes it just happens overnight. We know the Dallas Cowboys and how they handle contract associations. Hey, I appreciate it, kinfolk. Yeah, man. I found some free copyright free music to play on the background on this program I'm running. They're actually lo-fi beats. So yeah, I'm just trying to set the mood, man. It'll just be me rambling, with white noise in the background most of the time. So I just tried to do something a little bit different. But yeah, man. So Dak Prescott, he's ready to get a deal done. Front office is ready to get a deal done. And honestly, if you want to be a competitive team next year, you have to get it done. Right? This is the first year where Dak Prescott is going to cost you anything. Hey, Matt said it's love making music in the background. Boy, y'all here. But yeah, man. So like, this is the first time in Dak Prescott's entire career where he's going to have a massive cap hit. First time. It's going to be about $49.5 million, if I'm not mistaken, if they do not extend him. So for the people that hate Dak Prescott, understand, if you don't think that highly of Dak Prescott, you think he's not a good quarterback, you think he needs this and that to succeed, well, none of that is going to happen if he does not get an extension. You will have no way to add more weapons. You will have no way to improve the offensive personnel around him. And really, if we're being honest, if you let him play these next 2 years out at the cap hits that they're at, you might not have enough money to retain the free agents you want to retain from your own team. It might get a little crucial trying to keep Trayvon Diggs. It might get a little crucial trying to keep CeeDee Lamb. It damn sure gonna get crucial to keep Micah Parsons, because the man might be one of the first $30 million defensive players by the time it's time to pay him. With as often as the market just increases the way it does. So it makes perfect sense for the Dallas Cowboys and Dak Prescott to want to get it done. Like, Dak Prescott wants to be able to compete. He wants to be a Dallas Cowboy long term. So it kills two birds with one stone, right? You get some cap relief. You keep Dak Prescott under contract, for the next 4 or 5 years by just adding like 2 or 3 years at the end of this contract he's already on. So it should be a layup. It doesn't usually work like that with the Dallas Cowboys. They usually shoot themselves in the foot, going about it the entirely wrong way. Because remember, they were bidding against themselves, with the first time Dak Prescott came up for some money, and it really cost them $10 million. Quarterback market increased by $10 million in the 2 years that they were dragging their feet trying to get a Dak Prescott contract done. So, hopefully it does not go that way this time around. Hopefully everybody's is on the same page. And like I said, we need the cap relief. We do. We're like in the red right now. So like this is one of the moves I was talking about on my other stream. This is one of the moves the Dallas Cowboys have to make, to stay competitive, to build a good roster. Like you gonna have to cut everybody and their mama otherwise. Like this is the easiest move you can make to clear the most cap space. Like Dak Prescott signing a contract extension clears over $20 million in cap space. You're instantly back where you need to be at. Yeah, and like Matt stated, if you redo Dak, Tyron Smith, and Zeke deal, you free up about $45 million. Yep, that is true. And that's on the low side. And that's on the side where you don't cut anybody, right? You're not cutting Dak. This is no, of course, this is a scenario where you don't cut Zeke. This is the scenario where you don't cut Tyron Smith. Right. The same guys you're talking about cutting, you can just ask them to restructure. You can ask them to take extensions, blase, so on and so forth, to reduce the cap hit. So yes, just with those three moves, you can reduce the salary cap, hits, and you can save about $45 million or so. But the lion's share of that, right? The lion's share of that is going to come from the Dak Prescott contract. That's where a lion's share that's coming from. Because remember, cutting Zeke saves $10 million. Restructuring him and bringing him back, you probably save about $8 million, $7 million, but you'll be able to keep the player, right? Tyron Smith, cutting him saved $10 million, right? But you're up here trying to restructure him. So you'll probably save like $7 to $5 million on that. So like the Dak Prescott, extension is the biggest clump of money that you can save at one go around. Like that extension, regardless what the numbers is on it, right? On paper, whether you make Dak Prescott a $45 million a year quarterback or a $48 million a year quarterback or a $50 million a year quarterback, the cap savings for the next couple of years are going to be the same. You're still going to lower the cap hit. You're still going to be able to go shopping, right? Because remember, Dak Prescott is a $40 million a year quarterback right now this day. And this is going to be the first year that Dak Prescott even cost $40 million against the cap. First year was $17 million. The year after was $19 million. So, the contracts on paper can say whatever they want. It really is only about the cap hit. And, there's plenty of ways that we can mitigate the cap hits just by doing these couple moves. Right? So, with that said, pray the Dallas Cowboys get it done. Because when you look around the roster, right, how else are they going to clear the space, right? If you cut Jordan Lewis, which I think you probably should, he already lost his job anyway to Deron Bland, you only save about $1 million. The Dallas Cowboys have already made it clear they want to keep Zeke. They're working on getting a restructure done with Zeke. So you won't save that much money. They've been vocal just now. The report dropped, but they're trying to work something out with Tyron Smith. Cutting him would have saved $10 million. Since you're not going that route, you're not going to save as much money as you would have cutting him. So you'll save something, but not as much. So really, because the Dallas Cowboys do want to keep Zeke and they do want to keep Tyron Smith, they have no choice this offseason but to, re Dak Prescott up and just move forward. But that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing at all. Right. So we discussed the Tyron Smith thing going on. We discussed Dak Prescott, possibly coming up and getting his extension in the offseason, as he definitely should. Let's see. And, we also know the Giants were $50 million in the hole. Oh, the Saints were $50 million in the hole and signed Derek Carr to an expensive deal. Yeah, proof is not an issue. The salary cap really is not an issue if you don't want it to be. But there are ways that the Dallas Cowboys can clear salary cap space and still sign players, right? So while it's not an issue, you know, there are also ways where you don't have to be over the cap and still sign people. They can make it look good on paper if they care so much about the salary cap. Like there's ways around that. But another guy that y'all have been talking about, in recent memory is DeAndre Hopkins. So I got a couple of tidbits on that. Just going to respond to a couple of these reports I've seen. The first thing, right? There is parameters, right, for it in place. It is currently being reported that the Arizona Cardinals want a second round pick and a late round pick, or a player to ascertain the services of DeAndre Hopkins. He's popular lady around Dallas right now. Facts. So yeah, man. So like, if that's all that it takes, right? I just need y'all to go ahead and put it in there. And hey, Eternal Dynasty, we were actually touching on that before you dropped in here. He said keeping Tyron is a huge plus, especially if it's a good price. Now will he be a swing or left tackle or kick Tyler to left guard? We actually were touching on that before you came in here, right? Because there are possibilities, right? He could be the starting left tackle and have Tyler Smith back out there at left guard, or he could be a swing tackle functioning in the same capacity as Jason Peters was last season. We don't really know how the Dallas Cowboys are viewing it right now, but because we lack depth at the offensive line position, it does make sense. Now, I was one of the guys that was trying to push Tyron Smith out of here, but looking around at our other options to improve our line depth, it's not really there. So, like I was saying earlier, if I can get 10 games out of Tyron Smith, right? I know he ain't gonna play a full season. He ain't played a full season in about 6-7 years. But if I can get at least 10 games from Tyron Smith in the regular season and he's present for the playoffs, I can live with that. Especially if it's a decent price. His cap hit this year is $13.7 million a year. If you get it down to like a cap hit of 6 or 7, right, with some incentives in there, so he might be able to re-up some of that, cool. I'm cool with that, right? But it is what it is. It is what it is with Tyron at this point. And don't get me wrong, I do like Tyron Smith, but a player that only plays 17 games in 3 years, I don't usually be expecting a lot from him. Give second and fourth for D-Hop and give up first for D-Hop. Stop. Or Tyron Jones, do it now. Now, see, I don't think, and that's the beautiful thing about it, though. I don't even think it would take a first round pick to get DeAndre Hopkins, right? I don't think it would take a first round pick at all to get D-Hop, because he didn't even get traded for a first round pick, and that was some years ago. He was younger. Like when he first got traded, it only took a second round pick to get him. So I definitely think like a second and a fourth round pick is going to be enough to get him. So now that we're on the subject on getting DeAndre Hopkins, like I want to also report on this. He was on the Pat McAfee show, and he stated, for the right situation at the right team. Oh, I'm getting to that. I'm glad you said it. See, you're on point, man, because we're right there on the same page. Because I'm finna tell you what he said. Now, he said for the right situation, he would be willing to rework the final 2 years on his contract for the right team, right? So, with that said, like you were just asking, like how will we be able to pay him, right? He's willing to trade MG and a third for D-Hop. I don't even know if anybody want that boy, man. Like he has not put out good film the last 2 years, and he's been hurt. So that's gonna be a tough sell for me to think anybody wants DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, not DeAndre Hopkins. Anybody wants Michael Gallup. If he was productive, then like that would be a different story. But I don't think Michael Gallup has much of a trade market right now. The man barely has 800 yards in the last 2 years combined. So I don't know. And he's been injured, multiple injuries. I don't see anybody wanting him. Michael Lockhart, what's up with you, man? I see you tapping in with me, my boy. But yeah, I don't necessarily see Michael Gallup having any trade value at all. But DeAndre Hopkins did pretty much say that right team he would rework the last 2 years of his contract. So if you're worried about trying to pay him, like it seems like there will be room to finagle something there, right? It seems like there will be room to work something out, especially since it looks like he really wants to be in Dallas. We fit the description of a team he will actually want to work something out with. He'll get to play beside a wide receiver like CeeDee Lamb. And no offense to my boy AJ Green, but D Hop has never played with a wide receiver on the opposite side as good as CeeDee Lamb is, right? Because when he was playing with AJ Green, it was over with for AJ. He was a long in the tooth veteran. He just retired this year, right? So like he really didn't get the chance to play with the real AJ Green that was in Cincinnati. So this would be his first time playing with a wide receiver that might be better than him. Well, that is better than him. So with that said, I would like to acquire him, and I think he will be willing to rework the last bit of his contract to be a Dallas Cowboy. I mean, he said as much himself. So when a player says they want to play for you, right? He out there with Dez Bryant. He'd have been up with Dez Bryant in Dallas on his live twice. So he's campaigning to be a Dallas Cowboy right now. So you always need to go out and sign the players that want to sign with you, because odds are you might be able to get a deal on them. Douglas said, "Oh, what's up, Bishop?" He said, "Loyalty is killing us." Hey, I'm gonna say this though. I was initially part of the camp that said, throw Tyron Smith off a cliff. Right, I was part of the segment trying to push him out of Dallas. But when you look around at our other options at improving our offensive line depth, it is not too good. So if he restructures and he wants to play the role that Jason Peters played last year, cool. Right? Or if they really want him to start, if they are willing to bring in a solid swing tackle or a solid backup guard, so where I ain't got to rely on Connor McGovern, if they kick Tyler Smith back out of the left tackle, I'm fine with that. But they have to make this move and then have an insurance policy, because Tyler Smith has not played a lot of football these past 3 seasons, and he ain't gonna play a full season. So you got to, if you're gonna keep Tyler Smith, you got to move and be smart about it. Jazzy Jeff, I see you there, McKin folk. I appreciate you tapping in with me at HTM Sports, brother. So yeah, that's my mindset on it. But yeah, he listen, they're gonna keep him at a lower cap hit. So you're gonna save a little bit of money. You get to keep a veteran presence that they respect in the locker room. He may or may not play games for you, whatever. The Dallas Cowboys are gonna do what the Dallas Cowboys do, but if you do some crazy stuff, you gotta at least be smart about it. So if Tyron Smith, who was a player with obvious injury history, is going to be a guy you want around, you got to have a backup plan, because he probably ain't going to play all the games. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, the Dallas Cowboys hold on to players for a very long time. We got the Henny on tap, got the rum on tap. It's a party. HTM, my guy, was goody in the hoodie. What's up with you, Swain? I see you, my boy. I thank you for tapping in with me, man. I always appreciate the love and support, man. I always appreciate it. So yeah, but yeah, like it's very feasible, dog. Like something like this can happen, with this DeAndre Hopkins deal. Like, and you won't even feel bad about it, because The last second round pick that we actually hit on was Trayvon Diggs. That's the last second round pick that we actually, picked, and they panned out. Boss Man Fat did not work out at all. He did not work out. You look at Tristan Hill, that did not work. Right? He said Avion Collins, does he have a spot? Yes. Avion Collins signed a futures deal with the Dallas Cowboys. He is going to be on the roster. I certainly think that he is a better player than Josh Ball and should get all of his reps. Josh Ball is too big to be that sorry and to be getting whooped like that. So, no. He said everything needs to shut down immediately. Henny is live as Swain has come to bring the pain and meat. What's up with you, Darren? I see you, my boy. I appreciate you for coming and rocking with me, man. So yeah. But no, like for D Hop, like we don't even draft well in the second round. Give up that second round pick. And you get a player who is experienced, who is still a good contributor, who has size, who gets open, like he has great hands, So like you get a lot with D Hop, and he has already openly said that he would work with when he will rework the last couple of years of his contracts for the right team. So what more do you want? He wants to play for Dallas. It won't cost you a lot of capital to get him, and he's willing to rework his contracts to avoid a big salary cap hit for the team that he wants to go to. And we're the team that he wants to go to. Man, D Hop is not that old. I mean, it seems like D Hop is old, but like he is only like 31. If I'm not mistaken, D Hop is only like 31 years old. So let's take a look. Matter of fact, let me get his age to be right on factual real quick. Because he was born in 92. So right now, DeAndre Hopkins is only 30, right? So he actually is 30 years old. He won't be 31 until the season starts. Okay. I'm big on availability too, right? So he only missed games this year because of the suspension. He is not going to be suspended this year. Right? He's not going to be suspended this year. There's nothing holding him back. Because outside of 2021, he has not really had an injury problem. Right? So he got caught up taking some stuff that he said he shouldn't be taking. So he got a suspension. So bring him in. He does not have an injury history. He's only going to be 31. And listen, we were happy to bring in T.Y. Hilton, who was going to be 34 years old this year. There is no way that we should be, hesitant on bringing in DeAndre Hopkins when he is a better player and he is younger, right? We were happy with T.Y. Hilton and the production he gave us in the limited amount of time he played, right? And we're not even asking DeAndre Hopkins to come in here and be the number one wide receiver. We got a number one wide receiver. We just want DeAndre Hopkins to come in and give us more than what Michael Gallup is giving us. Because Michael Gallup has been injured and hobbled for 2 seasons straight. And if we're being honest, he's never actually excelled that well as the true number 2 receiver. Right? So DeAndre Hopkins makes your wide receiver core so much better because there's not a huge drop off, from the 1 guy to the 2 guy. CeeDee Lamb, DeAndre Hopkins, and then Michael Gallup as your 3, it instantly makes your wide receiving core a threat. It makes your wide receiving core a threat, going to battle like that. So yeah, like DeAndre Hopkins makes way too much sense. And, let's do some simple math, right? He played 9 games. He got 717 yards. So if you extrapolate that over the course of a 17-game season, because, right, you divide the 717 by 9, that's 79.666666667, right? So we're going to round it up to 80. So he averaging about 80 yards a game. If you give him 80 yards a game over the course of a 17 game season, he's a 1,360-yard wide receiver. Grilling some chicken, listen to Henny preaching the truth. Hey, save me some chicken, kinfolk. Let's put a little bit of barbecue sauce on mine though. So yeah, so like if he does not get suspended and he plays a full 17 game season, he gets about 1,300 yards. And I believe that because the last time he played a full season was in 2020 and he got 1,407 yards. So, you know, DeAndre Hopkins is a guy who had he only had 1 year where he got hit with the injury bug, and he had 1 year where he was suspended. But 1,717 yards in 9 games is great production, especially when Michael Gallup played 14 games and only gave you 400 yards. All right, Michael Gallup played 14 games and only gave you 400 yards. So yes, I'm very interested in DeAndre Hopkins when you're just comparing him to what we got. I'm not saying DeAndre Hopkins is the same D-Hop that he was when he entered the league. I'm not saying DeAndre Hopkins is still a top 10 wide receiver. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just saying DeAndre Hopkins is better than Michael Gallup, so we should want him. Right? He said that is true. Older players do have a tendency of getting nicked. Right? So, you know, that's cool. I understand what you're saying, my guy. There's nothing wrong with being cautiously optimistic. Right? We all should be cautious. We all should be. But, you know, just based off of his track record and based off what we're asking him to do in Dallas, you know, beat up on a bunch of cornerback number 2s, you know, I think realistically he'll be fine. Realistically, knowing our front office, who are some sleepers we are likely to target? Like sleepers in the draft or sleepers in free agency? Because I got a couple. In free agency, what's happening, Henny? Which y'all take D-Hop or Diggs? It is a either or scenario. Is it an either or scenario, landlord? Do I have to choose? Can I not have both? You gonna make me choose, man? Oh, you know, from the Cowboys' perspective, DeAndre Hopkins is the guy. I'm gonna say it like this. I prefer Stephon Diggs because he is the more explosive player. Right? He was just a top 10 wide receiver last year. But, you know, if you're looking at the Dallas Cowboys, DeAndre Hopkins is the player it would take less to get. Right? It would take less to actually get DeAndre Hopkins. You ain't got to give up first. You ain't got to give up this and that. And like the going price on DeAndre Hopkins is a second and a fourth. And he said he would be willing to restructure his deal, you know, for the team. So, you know, I think that's right up their alley. But, you know, there are rumors. Y'all gonna stop playing with Stephon Diggs. Man, I would love Stephon Diggs on this team, man. Like he would just add such a great value and depth to this, man. Like he is a dog. He's a great route runner. He's explosive in and out of his breaks. He can track the ball down the field. Like you can line him up in the slot. You can line him up outside. Stephon Diggs is a different animal. Now, I'm not saying that like DeAndre Hopkins is not a good pickup for us. But, you know, if we're asking who is a better player right now, it's obviously Stephon Diggs, right? So that would be the player that I would prefer. Stephon Diggs is a better player right now than DeAndre Hopkins. But, you know, I think DeAndre Hopkins is the more realistic player the Cowboys can get, given the asking price, right? Given the fact that he said he would restructure his deal and given the fact it will only take a second or fourth to get him. So, you know, that's how I'm feeling on that. Hey, landlord, since you're in the chat with me, boy, what does elevator music sound like to you, man? You know, I'm getting everybody's opinions. I just found out how to add the background music and stuff, so I'm up here, you know, experimenting on these lives, man. So I'm up here experimenting on the live. So landlord, what the elevator? Tell me what the elevator music sound like, my boy. I know you hear it in the background. Give me feedback. I know you keep it real with me. Matt Baden says love making music. Leon said run with it. I know that's right. Okay, cool. Swain said he loved the music. All right, if y'all feeling the music, I will keep the music in my future ones. I'm from the South, so I like it way louder. Digs all the way, but I want to have both. Yeah, I want to have both. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care nothing about the draft. If we gotta give all our draft picks to get Stephon Diggs and DeAndre Hopkins, I'll do that. I'll give my second and my fourth for DeAndre Hopkins. I'll give my first and my third for Stephon Diggs, and we'll call it a day. Right? Matter of fact, if they do that, we're still gonna go to the draft just to see who the hell we do draft. So we ain't gonna have a 2 or 3 draft pick. We're still gonna go. Michael said he don't even hear the music. Damn, got that thing low. You don't hear that? He said elevator music and a Caprice with 315s. Boy, and I love Caprices, man. Hey, matter of fact, I used to have a 96 Impala, man. Like I had sold it a couple years back. I hate I ever did that too. I hate I ever did that. Let's see. Get on them like you did me. But yeah, so like I would give up every single draft pick I got, to get those 2 players on my team. Like I said, I give up my second and my fourth for D Hop. Then I give up my first and my third for Stephon Diggs. Easily. My boy said he had a 93 Caprice on Foles. Man, I'm trying to get back to that. I'm trying to get me another one, man. I love them bubbles. I love country boy. Love the bubble Chevys, man. Could be Hawkins, could be Diggs. I mean, I hope it's both. Honestly. He said, what we do in free agency going to determine what we do in the draft. No, real talk. Listen, if the Dallas Cowboys address middle linebacker in free agency, if they address defensive tackle in free agency, and they address cornerback number 2 in free agency, then we good to go. Like that's everything we need. That's really everything we need. He said OBJ too iffy. The top of them 2 ACL tears. Yeah, like OBJ is like my last option. Not because I don't think that he's a good player, but I have guys with. Well, I'm gonna say it like this. I normally do not care about players with injuries, right? I always brag about our medical staff, how they're an award-winning medical staff, how Dallas is like one of the hotbeds for medical advancements and things like that. But he's had so many injuries, and then they're all like the same kind of injury. They're all ACL tears. I am a little hesitant on Odell Beckham, but I'm gonna say this though for the Odell Beckham fans, so y'all can have faith. If any team in the NFL can keep Odell Beckham healthy, it's the Dallas Cowboys. So for y'all that like him, if they do sign him, have some faith. He's not my first choice by any means, but again, if any team in the NFL can keep a player healthy, it's the Cowboys. Facts. But yeah, I think hell yeah, I take Stephon Diggs. OBJ's a diva. That's Jerry title. We might get him. we gotta add capable running back via draft or free agency. Man, there's a bunch of running backs in the draft that we ain't even been talking about, right? Hold that thought. Let me hit this green tea. Numbers. All right. So there's a bunch of good running backs in this draft, man. So like you look at the boy Spears from Tulane, right? He's a great running back. Tank Bigsby from Auburn, like he's a very capable running back. Then you know there's the running back from Pittsburgh, right? He's a very capable running back. The boy from Georgia, even though he really wasn't like a bell cow back. Like there's some guys in the draft that add value at running back, right? So I definitely would take the boy from Tulane. He's very explosive. He reminds you of a smaller Tony Pollard if you just look at the tape. Now he ran a slightly slower 40 time than Tony. At Tony's pro day, he ran a 4.3. He actually ran a 4.4 at the combine. So it's a guy to look at though. So I definitely think he add value to this team. Thanks, Cowboy Nation, for getting the likes of HTM Sports. Yeah, I appreciate y'all for everything, man. Like, for real, like, the more y'all support, the more I'm going to do the content, man. Like, for real. I shan't are y'all cowgirls suck. Okay. I appreciate you for coming in here. And listen, why would you be happy as an Eagles fan for us keeping Dak Prescott when y'all have not beaten Dak Prescott in 4 years? The last time that the Philadelphia Eagles have beaten Dak Prescott was in 2019. It is 2023 right now. It's 2023. That's 4 years ago, my friend. So I don't understand why y'all so. Hey, what's up? Hey, Dwayne Brown, I appreciate you for the $5 donation, my guy. I thank you very much. So so I don't get that, my guy. Was Dak born last time Cowgirls made an NFC championship? Well, let me ask you a question. How many of your family members died before 2017? Like, I'm pretty sure your granny, your daddy, your cousins, your uncles. I don't think none of them made it to see the Eagles won championship. Like 100,000 people died before the Eagles won a championship. Y'all went 60 years. Y'all done went 60 years without ever winning a damn title. And now you want to come here with the chest out. Matter of fact, man, like, I'm actually surprised to see an Eagles fan in the chat. Like, y'all been hiding since you got your ass embarrassed in the Super Bowl. Hey, fun fact. You know, I like numbers and statistics and stuff. So let me give you a fun fact about the Eagles. The Eagles are 1-3 in the Super Bowl. They are 1-3 in the Super Bowl. And because they blew a double-digit lead, they are now tied. No, they are now the only team outside of the Atlanta Falcons who blew a 10-point lead at halftime in the Super Bowl. So they suck legendarily. They are legendary choke artists. Congratulations. Congratulations. That's Philadelphia fourth account. Good grief. Yeah, they sorry. Now listen, Eagles fans are the people who are proud of participation trophies. Like, as kids, they put their participation trophies on the trophy shelf because they never win shit, outside of being on a group project. Like, the Eagles always get their fans' hopes up. Like, they always go to the championship game, but they always get their ass whooped. And if they win the championship game, they never win the Super Bowl. They're dick teasers. They're dick teasers. Cowgirls still flexing their ancient. What have the Cowgirls done in the last 30 years? Well, since you're bad at math, right? In the last 30 years, the Dallas Cowboys have 3 championships, right? That's why idiots usually stop at 27 years, because if you include the other years, the Dallas Cowboys have 3 championships. So get your math together first before you try to talk crazy in the chat, right? And the Eagles fans live in the past too. I mean, all y'all talk about it 2017 because that's all y'all have. Everything else is you losing. Ever. 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 Listen, remember, nobody that died, all right? Anybody that died before February 2018 did not see the Eagles win a championship. Like, nobody that died before February 2018 saw the Eagles win a championship. They all died and went to hell sad. Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm green lighting the hit. Wrench gang, go ahead and whack the Eagles fan. Get him out of here. We send hits over here, kinfolk. Swain said he's shooting down the hummingbird. Oh, man. Dead in the water. Yeah, it's over with. Can't shoot down. He's bleeding out already. It's all good. Yo, what's up with you, JC? He said, what's good? I dropped. Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm finna go check that out too, man. So he checked. Hey, everybody, show support. He said, we got wrenches to tighten them up. Yeah, man. Wrench can't tighten their hands up real quick. But hey, everybody, please go show support to JC Cowboys Network and his Jordan Addison video he just dropped. I'm gonna check it out myself when I get up off of here. And please also, I know y'all fool with my boy Landlord, so continue to support his page as well, man. Yeah, he's on YouTube. He actually in the chat box with us, man. He puts out good quality content, man. So those are definitely 2 key follows y'all need, man. Please go and subscribe to Landlord from Alabama, and then please go subscribe to my boy JC Cowboys Network. Yeah, JC Cowboys Network is one, and Landlord from Alabama is the other one. Those are the 2 names. Yeah, he do some great film breakdown, man. He do some great film breakdowns. Both of them do. Both of them do. Hey, anytime, brother. Anytime. But yeah, speaking of Jordan Addison, like, he is a guy that I'm very high on. But like, what's crazy is I looked, at the oh, here you go, Mike. Here you go, Michael Lockhart. I got you. I'm gonna put this part of the wrench game, man. Bang, there you go. Yeah, man. So he's a guy I'm very high on. But I went back and looked at the most recently updated, like polling, right? You looking at these guys' draft boards, and they got him falling. They got him outside of the top 20 now. And I told you what would happen. There will be a lot of people to make and lose money because of the combine. Right? There will be a lot of people that made and lost money because of the combine. And because of that, because of how these guys were performing out there in shorts, like, they now got this man down here as like the 26th best available player. So if he was to fall to the Dallas Cowboys, I will welcome him with open arms. I would welcome him with open arms, because he's too productive on the actual football field when he's in cleats, when he's in shoulder pads, for me to be concerned about how he performed outside of that. When you look at the film, he's a good route runner. He gets a lot of separation. He is explosive. So I don't care about the actual 40 time, because if you know, 40 times and game speed are completely different. Yeah, Josh Downs is definitely a good player as well. I like Josh Downs. There's a couple wide receivers in here I wouldn't mind having. Yeah, he like JC Cowboys Network said, he has great game speed. Yeah, and game speed is all that actually matters, right? Because CeeDee Lamb only ran a 4.5. Like, he ran a 4.5 flat, and we don't consider CeeDee Lamb to be a slow receiver. He's very explosive. He gets open. He can, like, you can throw a deep ball to CeeDee Lamb. It's not really an issue with that, right? Hey, Joe Tranchina, what's up with you, man? I see you tapping in with me, my brother. Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins not fast, right? And we can name 100, good wide receivers that don't have fast 40 times, right? Right? Because Dez Bryant only ran a 4.5. Cooper Kupp was in the 4.6 range. You look at Keenan Allen, who was making all kinds of Pro Bowl selections, always had 1,000 yards. He ran a 4.7 at his combine, right? Who else can you think of that is not really a fast wide receiver? Michael Irvin himself, right? The original playmaker, was a 4.5 guy. He said this one he did was so different. We're going to enjoy it. I'm definitely going to take it out, right? Yeah, CeeDee Lamb is a very underrated route runner, man, and he has improved. Yeah, Jared Rice ran a 4.7. Yeah, CeeDee Lamb has improved as a route runner, right? He gets separation, and I think that is also a byproduct of having somebody like Amari Cooper on the team with him for so long. So, I seen the preseason chatter they had where he was asking him how to set up these moves and things like that. Yeah, Cooper Kupp ran a 4.6. So, there's a bunch of guys that didn't have outstanding 40 times, right? But the only time 40 times actually matter, it's all about getting separation, right? If you run your route good enough and you sell your route and you can get a step on a defensive back, you're going to get separation and you're going to get open. So like the only time 40s even actually matter is on like a go route when you're trying to actively outrun somebody. So that's not really even an issue. Steedy should take his game to the next level in the West Coast offense. Rice, yeah, and it's going to be a bunch of plays that are going to involve getting the wide receiver, the ball quickly for them to make plays in open space. You'll see more jailbreak screens. You'll see more slants. You'll see some more over routes. You'll see those staple plays inside of the West Coast system, that will, be very conducive to wide receivers having good numbers. I think he'll eat. Sadiqa Charles said she's good. Hey, what's up with you, Sadiqa? I don't even think I gave you flowers when you came in here. I appreciate you for tapping in with me. It's part of the wrench game. So yeah, but no. Jordan Addison, man, like, and I don't get it. Speaking of him, man, let's bring up the numbers, because I want people to put this into perspective, what he has done, right? I'm just gonna put this into perspective for you. So let's take a look at his statistics. Let's take a look at his statistics, right? So in the last 2 seasons, right? If you look at his last 2 seasons, he has 159 catches, right? He has 2,468 yards, and he has 25 touchdowns. This his production for his last 2 seasons. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Jordan Addison even, I don't think he even was fully healthy the entire year. I think he got nicked and had to miss some time, if I'm not mistaken. So let's take a look. Yeah, because he missed multiple games with an ankle injury last year, right? So he didn't even play a full season and was putting up pretty good numbers. 875 yards, 8 touchdowns, 59 catches, average about 14.8 yards a catch. So he was injured last season and still put up very good numbers. And when he was fully healthy the year before that, he was a 1,500-yard receiver. So yes, you want him. Like don't ever let the comeback. And this is what I don't like about these guys that are supposed to be professionals. You never let the combine, you know, override good tape. Cause that's what he has. He has good tape. He has good tape, and he got good stats. Right, that's rare. Right, sometimes you have good stats, but on the tape, you're not really getting open like that. Right, you see things on film that doesn't translate to the next level. Right, but for him, he has good statistics. He has good tape showing that he gets separation, and he getting separation against some guys that are going to be playing in the NFL. Right, some of these guys he's torching are going to be playing football on Sunday. So it's not like he playing a bunch of Joe Schmoes or bums or anything like that. He's doing this against pretty decent competition. Said check that video tonight, JC Cowboy Network. Yeah, we're gonna go over there showing some love, man. We're gonna definitely go on there showing some love. Hopkins, all that money. This is the thing, Joe. Like DeAndre Hopkins said, for the right team, he will rework the couple final seasons on his contract. So like he'll rework that so the cap hit won't be too bad. So, and listen, DeAndre Hopkins, no, let's be honest. He is definitely going to be our second one. He is definitely going to be our second wide receiver. He's not going to be wide receiver 3. Like Michael Gallup, right? If there was a way to trade him and somebody wanted him, I'm sure they would get him off the books because he's not done much in the last 2 seasons. I know he was injured, but it is what it is. Yeah. And those are his words, right? It's not like, anybody can't making false reports. Like he went on Pat McAfee shows and he said that. Eastside Hero said Smith needs to be in a retirement home. It is what it is. OG Smith give me 10 games and he show up to the playoffs. I'm gonna rock with my boy, man. Once it get, I'm always the guy. I tell the Dallas Cowboys what I believe they should do, and when they don't do that, it's right back to just supporting the player at that point. Hey, Sadiq Charles, it's all love. I like Mike, but I just need us to be honest. He said, "Man, I'm hearing rumbles. That's all I can say." Ooh, man, I hope that rumble lead to an earthquake, boy. I hope them rumbles lead to an earthquake, my guy. That's exactly what we need. And look, I fool with Michael Gallup, man, but we're gonna have to be honest, right? We're all friends in the chat. Like we all rock with each other. It's all love. But Michael Gallup ain't really did much in 2 years. He's been injured, and that's part of the game. He's been injured. But altogether, the last 2 seasons, he's only gave me, he barely gave me 800 yards, and he only has like 6 total touchdowns in the last 2 seasons. So he's averaging about 400 yards and 3 touchdowns a season. So and we're paying him good money. So if you want him to survive, you might have to bring in a DeAndre Hopkins. And honestly, I still think Michael Gallup, if Michael Gallup doesn't go crazy this year, the Dallas Cowboys have a built-in out in his contract. I don't think he'll make it. And I like Mel G, man. Like he is a true definition of an underdog story, right? Knowing what he been through, knowing how hard he worked to get here, to get enumerated and be playing for the Dallas Cowboys. I hear he's an outstanding person in general, right? It's nothing personal, but he just has not been producing for me the last couple of years. I wish he could stay healthy, but I'm just be honest with y'all, man. And I fool with Michael Gallup, but man, yeah, don't be scared, Jerry. Make the play. Don't be scared. And listen, for y'all who play basketball, right? Y'all know this. When you have layups available, you take the layup, right? Just go ahead and get the points. Hey, Neil Favre, what's up with you? I appreciate you tapping in with me. Yeah, well, like when you have layups, just go ahead and get the points. And this is a layup with DeAndre Hopkins. This was going to be his make or break by design of his contract. He knew it. I believe why he allowed himself to be rushed back last year off that ACL. Yep, I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. Because if he does not ball out this year, they save a great deal of money by cutting him next year. Well, I didn't say he was going to pay for minimum wage, but he said he would take a pay cut to play for the right team. He said he would work something. Well, I'm not going to put words in his mouth. He said he would be willing to rework the final 2 years of his deal for the right team and the right situation. Those were his words when he did the interview. Jerry Shane Gallup back early. Yeah, I have no doubts about that. I think there was added pressure for him to come back earlier than possible. And look, you never know. DeAndre Hopkins might want to play for this player, try to win a championship. Right? He be coming up here. And y'all can't tell me that CeeDee Lamb and DeAndre Hopkins would not be a top 10 wide receiving group. Like a 1-2 punch. You can't tell me there's not a top 1-2 punch in the NFL. If it's not in the top 5, it's easily in the top 10. And we had next to nothing at the wide receiver position last year. Dwayne Brown said he thinks it's top 5. Okay. I definitely could see that. I could definitely see why you would say that, especially if we get the D-Hop we think we're going to get. If we get DeAndre Hopkins, man, I wouldn't mind them still signing another wide receiver, though. Like, get greedy. Now, odds of them actually signing both, they trade for D-Hop and then they go and get Odell Beckham. I don't know if they would do that, but like if they did, then like I'm gonna go crazy on Madden. Yeah, I know that Odell Beckham was a free agent. I'm just saying I don't know if they would still go out there and get him. But man, can you imagine playing with all three of them on Madden? Like you probably never lose. You probably never lose. But I definitely will go out my way and get him. Shit, landlord said, yeah. If Odell Beckham only had to be my wide receiver number 3, then go get him. Especially if he doesn't want a lot of money. If he just want a chance to play for the Dallas Cowboys and contribute to a championship, I go get Odell. He said Eastside Hero crazy. What he said? Hey, landlord, you did it wrong, man. You got to put the 6th title in there, man. You got to put the 6th championship in there, man. You got to do that over. You got to put the 5 we already got. Then you got to put the 6th one we finna win this year in there, boy. I be letting Eastside make it, man. He be coming in. He's a resident troll, man. We own the bridge and he live up underneath the bridge, man. So he gonna pop out every once in a while, man. So it's all love. It's all good. He said if Gallows balls out and we go get Hopkins, we be at least the top 3 receiving core. Yeah, man. Because like I don't and look, and Michael Gallup is perfectly suited to be a wide receiver 3. right? He's perfectly suited to be a wide receiver 3. And him against, and look, Michael Gallup against a third cornerback. I like that matchup. There you go, landlord. He put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He put 7 of them in there. Okay, we're gonna win 2 titles then. He said sell him. he got that Robert Ory special going on in the chat box, boy. Building a special trophy case for number 6. Hey, but we go get that level of talent. We need to be. We really do need to be shooting for the 7th title as well. We need to win the first one. Then we need to try to go back and repeat. So you gotta think about that kind of level. Eastside Hero said, "Cap, what's Cap? Talk to me, Eastside. What's Cap, my boy?" Eagles fan panicking because none of their top defensive players were franchise tagged. I mean, of course, them boys, they finna blow that up. I don't know what the Eagles thinking. Like, listen, y'all thought it was cute, right? It was cute at first when they said that Jalen Hurts was gonna get $50 million. Y'all like, pay him. We deserve what you. You know, y'all getting a little quiet over there on the home front. Now that y'all know that y'all probably gonna have to, you know, rebuild that entire defense. He says, Cap, we're gonna win another championship. That's fine if you think that. You know, you're supposed to think that, though. I think it's Cap that the Texans will ever win a championship. So, you know, you should feel the way you feel. I'm gonna feel the way I feel, my guy. But it's love. If we trade for D-Hop and sign OBJ and get Ramsey, man, the internet would break. The internet would break. Like, man, can you imagine having those kind of players on there? And listen, I've been way off base with everything we've been talking about, right? Because, you know, I titled it Tyron Smith will remain a Dallas Cowboy, my thoughts. And I done talked about 100 things since then. But it's all good, though. You know, I like the flow of the conversation, really. Because, you know, I started over here and ended up all the way over here. See, I really am going to, Eastside Hero, all jokes aside, if you rocking with the Texans the way you say you're rocking with the Texans, man, you need to go live. Right? You need to go live, man. Because I think you would have a niche there, man. I think there's a lot of people. Man, in the Houston area that would follow, you know, that they would subscribe to you, they would follow you, you know. So like, hey, I don't really see anybody in that space right now. So you should definitely go live. You should go live, and the way I be doing this Cowboy stuff, you should be doing your Texas stuff. And then, hey, for real though, no, I ain't going down, my boy. Listen, peep me out. Because listen, he's a Texas fan, so and they be having thousands of people in their stadium. So, you know, there's some people, believe it or not, that really rock with the Texans. So, you know, you should go live. You should do your show. And, you know, next offseason when I'm doing this Dallas Cowboy content, you know, you can come on the show or something from your platform, and, you know, we'll chop it up. He said if they draft Bryce, they chances will go up. If they give Bryce some weapons, because, you know, they need an infrastructure in place, you know, to support a quarterback, right? A lot of people, and, you know, this is my take on how to develop a quarterback, right? It's just like building a house, right? You don't just go out there and, you know, just plot the house down on some land. You got to put the infrastructure down for the house first, right? You got to put the piping underneath, right? You got to have the stone slab and stuff, right? You got to irrigate the ground, do this and do that to make it ready for you to put the house on top of it, and then you build the house, right? You don't just pop a house down there on regular untreated ground. You know what I'm talking about? So this is the same way I feel with the quarterback position. Right, there's not an infrastructure in place right now in Houston for Bryce Young to be successful. He does not have a good wide receiving core. Outside of Tunsil, he does not have, good offensive line support. He doesn't have a great defense. So, like there's not really the infrastructure there for Bryce Young to come in and be ready to succeed. But if they were able to, maybe parlay something into something, but they're gonna be a long way off. They even with Bryce Young, they're gonna be like about 4 years off from competing. He said Stingley, they best receiver. He a cornerback. Ooh, that's not good. Well, I do like Brandon Cooks, but he's trying to get up out of there. Brandon Cooks trying to get up out of there. But yeah, dog. Let me see. Oh yeah, man. I've been rocking with y'all forever. Hey man, I've been on here for an hour and 20, man. I gotta go. I gotta pick up the grandson from this after school program. So I will be back, man. I appreciate y'all for everything. Remember, please hit the like button, hit the share button. If you have not already subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. But much peace. I appreciate y'all for everything, man. I'm gonna get at y'all later on.